English 102 online students. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you had a great Halloween, that you're still eating lots of candy and enjoying the leftovers of that day, and that you're looking forward to a great fall break. I know when the fall break comes a little bit later in the semester, sometimes you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for it, and now it's here. So the other good thing about this late fall break is that you know that the end of the semester is around the corner, right? There are just about 3 weeks or so left until we're getting to the very end. So we are almost there. We're in the home stretch. So as always, I always like to start by clicking on course information, and there you of course have the link to your course calendar that has all your weekly assignments on it. I've already got mine open, and when we go all the way down to week 12, this reminds you that you're going to be finishing up or working on your annotated bibliography this week. So don't forget that the goal with this class is that you're developing expertise in a topic. So you kind of started to do that with the very first essay in the beginning, the curiosity exploration essay. The critical response was meant to be a continuation of that, either taking your kind of vague topic idea in a new direction or finding a related topic, not really starting off with something completely new, because the idea is that we're kind of building upon the previous work that we've done, because all the other assignments that you've worked on before that critical response essay were all about research and citations and all that good work you've done, finding sources and looking in databases and on the web and everything, is all meant to take you to a final goal, which is to the problem solution research report at the end of the semester. So I've seen some confusion with some students that they were trying to pick a new topic for every assignment. You don't need to do that. That's more work than you need to do. The goal is really that you develop expertise in a topic. And I've had some great conversations with many of you, even by email, just kind of refining topics, helping you find good search terms, showing you that your topic actually does exist out there, that there is information on it. So don't give up. Even if you feel like a topic has been a little bit hard to find information on, I'm sure it's out there. You just have to know how to look for it. Okay, so moving into this week's assignment, I did create a video about this a few weeks ago on the annotated bibliography, just to give you a heads up about it and let you know that it was coming up, because I like to give lots of time to work on that assignment. But this week, I'm going to go ahead and just go through that assignment one more time, a quick review, so that you know what it's all about. So when you go into the modules area, we're going to head down to Module 7. That's where we are this week. So that's synthesizing research, and the whole idea of this word synthesize is bringing things together. It's kind of like that research notes chart you did back in like Module 4 or 5, I believe it was 4. And in that research notice assignment, you're taking research questions and sources and you're kind of merging them together to find answers. And you're sort of doing maybe a more expanded version of that assignment with the annotated bibliography. So as you get ready to do this week, or you're still working on it and finalizing it, go back to that research notes assignment, because it's probably going to have some good sources that you can draw from. So when we open up Module 7, okay, we will scroll down here just a little bit, and let's see, you've got here your annotated bibliography guidelines. So I'm going to download that and just give you a few reminders about what you need to have in this assignment. So the first part of the guidelines just goes through for you what an annotated bibliography is, and I actually saw in a lot of the bibliographies that you found in assignment 7.1, I was really happy to see this, some of them even had the annotations set up with this three-pronged kind of component to it: summarize, assess, and reflect. So in your bibliography, as you saw in many of the bibliographies you found, you're going to have 6 sources in your bibliography. Each one of those sources needs to have a citation in the citation style that you choose, MLA or APA, and you should stay consistent from here on out. If you're using MLA style in your bibliography, plan on using it in your final paper. Same for APA. If you're using APA for this one, use it for your final paper, because you don't want to switch back and forth and create confusion for yourself and more work. So each of your citations should be following the format rules for that citation style. And underneath each of those citations, you're going to have an annotation. And an annotation is really just a description of what is in your source. So you're summarizing it. You practiced doing this in the critical response essay. You had to summarize certain aspects of the article that you chose, and you needed to respond to it. So each of these annotations is basically like a mini critical response essay of a much shorter length. So in about, it tells us down here, where does it tell us the number of words? 100 to 125 words. So in about 100 to 125 words, you're going to do these three things. You'll summarize, so you might only need 50 to 75 words to summarize. It's not too much, so you're really looking for the most important ideas that you can take from that source. You're going to assess it. You're going to talk about how useful it is in your research project as you move towards the final problem solution research report, because this bibliography is basically an expanded works cited or references list for that paper. You're actually doing all the work for that right now. So everything you're doing in this bibliography hopefully is going to end up in your final paper, or at least a good portion of it will. Okay, and you'll also be reflecting on the source. You know, like what exactly can you do with it? How does it fit into the arguments you're trying to make in your paper? Does it help you bring in an opposing view, a counter argument? Does it help you support one of the main arguments in favor of your thesis statement? So what are you going to do with this source? Why have you included it in your list? Okay, going down just a little further, you can review the information about why you should write an annotated bibliography. You kind of learned about that this week as you did assignment 7.1. You've kind of been doing what you would hope other people would do with your bibliography, or you're using them as a source of research for your own papers. Okay, so don't forget that you're going to need at least 6 sources in your bibliography. Anything less than 6 will result in fewer points. So you definitely want to have all your sources there. Okay, and this description here tells you what kind of sources you need to have. So you need one article from an academic or scholarly journal. The only place you can get that from would be from either a library database, or you might find it in Google Scholar. You might find a full text link in Google Scholar. If you do, that's great. But if you don't, then you might need to go back to our library databases, use the publication finder as I taught you in a previous lesson. And you might need to see if Lander has access to that, but it needs to be from one of those 2 places. A well-researched newspaper article, an in-depth article from a reputable magazine, and then you have 3 other credible and scholarly sources of your choosing. So it could be a print book, it could be an ebook, a chapter from a book, a documentary film, a blog post from a reliable blogger in your topic area, a TED Talk, or a website from a credible organization or author. So maybe something like a government agency, let's say. So I've given you in the chart just an overview of some sample resources that you could use for each of those categories. Okay, you're not limited to the New York Times, Washington Post, and LA Times for your newspaper. You could choose other ones. Any major newspaper should be a pretty good choice. You could even use a database like Newspaper Source Plus, and you'd find lots of other articles from many other newspapers that way. Magazine articles, I've just given you a few here. You could go into one of our databases, especially Academic Search Complete, and you could limit your search to just magazine articles, and you'd come up with lots of other publications that will be reputable too. Okay. So make sure, this is really important with your citation information, that you're using MLA 8 or APA 7 guidelines to format your citation information. All of that you will find in the Module 5 folder. Just go back and look at the example citations that I provided you with there. There are lists of model citations for each of those citation styles. I saw in many of the scavenger hunt assignments you did in Module 5 that you used old rules to format your citations that you submitted for that assignment. Not everybody, but many students did. And I imagine you might be finding some example citations online, or using maybe EasyBib or citation machine or one of those kinds of services, I would really avoid using those because they don't get updated as frequently as they should. Maybe they have errors in them. Even when you use the citations from databases, you still have to double check to make sure they don't have mistakes in the format. So go back and double check any citation you decide to use, because you don't want to use old rules. Time goes on and the rules change for different reasons, so we want to keep up with that. Make sure your citations, your sources are in alphabetical order. That makes it easy for readers to find them. Like I said before, your annotations should be about 100 to 125 words, and you're going to summarize the content of your source, the most important main ideas, assess how reliable or credible it is as an academic source, and reflect how it will fit into your research. Okay, in the Module 7 folder, you'll also see that there are examples of annotated bibliographies in both styles, and I'll show you those in just a moment. Okay, so by Sunday, November 8th, you'll be submitting this. There's no first draft to this assignment. Once you submit it, that's it, and I will grade it from there. Because this one really is not like an essay where you're going to be doing revisions to content and organization and things like that. This one is really just a compilation of all the sources you've discovered on your topic so far. And you're basically creating your works cited or references list 3 weeks or so ahead of the time that you're submitting your final project. And the great thing about this is that you won't be doing it the night before because everybody's been there. Even I have as a student. It's not a really good feeling. So having all this done ahead of time, you can sit back, you can relax, and you can say, yes, I'm done. Check that off my list. Okay, so as far as grading is concerned, I won't be using the same rubric that I use for all the other essay assignments, since this is not the same type of writing assignment. So I'll be grading it according to just this simple rubric. So the content and organization counts for the most with this assignment. It's 60 points, 60% basically. The formatting of your citations, that you have them in the correct format, either MLA 8 or APA 7 rules. And if you go to something like Purdue OWL, if you're comfortable using an online source to check format, Purdue OWL is a great place to look. You can also Google something like MLA website citation. Okay, and you'll probably find a pretty current source from a university library that will show you how to format a different type of source. And then the quality of your sources. So they all need to conform to the rules that I mentioned above of the 6 types of sources you're supposed to be having. So academic journals, newspapers, magazines, credible sources of your choice. Okay, so that's everything just summarized for the annotated bibliography. As I mentioned in this week's announcement, please check in with me if you have a question about a citation format. If you're putting together a citation and you're just not sure if it's correct, ask me. You know, you're not cheating by doing that. I'm not going to judge you if you have a question. I want you to ask. So you can even send me your citation and say, hey, is this the right format for a TED Talk? I'm just not sure. I've looked everywhere and I don't know if this is the right one or not. Can you help me out? I'll be glad to help you out. So don't hesitate to do that. And if you want to take your assignment to the Writing Center, I've had a few students ask about that in the last few weeks, and some students who have actually gone and had a really good experience with online and in-person appointments. If you forget how to sign up for an appointment, go to the course syllabus. It's all described there. And if you're still not sure after looking there, again, ask me. I'll be more than happy to help you set up your appointment, your account, and make sure that you can get in there and get the help that you need. Also, come to my office hours. Send me emails. I have had many real-time conversations with students by email. That works well too. During the week, I'm working like you are on all of our coursework. So you can often reach me outside of office hours times just by email. So I'm glad to help you. So again, I wish you a great fall break. Any questions you have, send them my way. And I look forward to seeing some great bibliographies coming in the next week.